welcome to Soul Symbols. My name is Shelley. I'm a writer, an astrologer, and a card reader, and I'd like to welcome you to my channel. Happy Saturday. It is the weekly energy card reading, and what that is you, the viewer, get to choose from one of 3 tarot or oracle decks, and we'll go through and do a quick spread to see what the general energies will be like for the next 7 days. It does not need to be the week of July 31st through August 7th, 2021 in order for the messages to resonate. If you come across this reading at any time, there could be little nuggets of information contained. There's a saying in card reading, we say take what resonates and leave the rest. So if you feel like a message is not resonating, you do not need to take it. These videos are for entertainment purposes only, and I like to think of card reading like dream interpretation. We're just looking at symbols and trying to interpret what they mean, and energy fluctuates from 1 second to the next. So again, you know, there can be several ways to read an image, and I definitely believe in taking the positive from any information that you see and just using it as a way of being prepared or reflecting on the energies that are going on in your life. Now, I'm going to go ahead and get started. I'm going to jump right in today, guys. If you can hear it from my voice, I'm a little tired today. It's been a long couple of days, so I'm not trying to be low energy on your read here. I'm ready for a nap, for real. But I do always get energized when I read your cards, so we're gonna keep it peppy, but we're just gonna jump right in today. We've got 3 decks here. I always like to keep my decks in rotation. The first deck, we have the Tattoo Tarot Inked in Intuition, and on top of it we have a beautiful volcanic red quartz. The middle deck is the Slow Tarot by Lacey, Bryant, and with it we have a beautiful bloodstone. The third deck is the Tarot of the Divine by Yoshitani, and on top of it we have a beautiful both polished and raw and point quartz. Now, to clarify today, we're going to see an oracle deck I haven't pulled out in a while. It's called the Nova cards. This is kind of a vintage deck. And what's beautiful about this deck is that you'll see that they're a series of cards, and they have both black and white and red kind of versions. So what it is the black and white card is almost kind of like the upright version. It's like the positive manifestation of the energy. And then the red is just a little bit more of, not a bad energy, but it's a little bit more of like almost like the way that you would read an inverse of a card. It's a little bit of the more cautionary kind of energy. And I was real drawn to bring out these cards. They're vintage, quote unquote vintage deck that I got from the maker. They were made in the 70s, and I actually purchased the deck from the maker, the publisher, the actual creator of the deck, off eBay of all places. I will check to see if they still are selling decks. I thought that they had a limited quantity, so I'm not sure if this is available for sale, but I will double check by the time I post the video. And if they are available for sale, I will put them as a link. All of the cards, all of the names and the authors of the materials I use, like the decks, are in the description box. So if you see something that you like, please feel free to check that out. But as always, I will give you a minute to choose which deck. If you need more time, please pause the video, and I'll see you in a minute. Okay, we're back. I'm going to go ahead and move this up. Alright guys, so deck number 1, the Tattoo Tarot. Let's go ahead and see what's your energy for the week. Beginning of the week, please. Beginning of the week, please. Deck 1's energy, please. Ooh, okay, that flipped. Ooh, that really flipped. Okay. Wow, okay. Middle of the week. End of the week. Wow, we got 2 aces. Okay, any other clarifiers? Wow, okay. Got 6 and a 7. It's like inverse energy here. Okay, let's go ahead and get your Nova card. Ooh, you saw how that flipped, right? Wow, that's cool. We got the red runner. Red runner. not the road runner, the red runner. All right. So wow, this is a really beautiful energy this week, guys. You got 6 here and 7 here, and then you've got 2 aces, and you see how anytime I see cards come out like this, I always think kind of like the root of the energy. So the top card is how it's manifesting, but the bottom card is the root, almost like the root of a flower. You know, what brought you to this, what the outward energy that you're expressing is the top card, but what brought you to that, what's underneath, what's hidden, you know, that's growing into that outward expression is the bottom card. So beginning of the week, I get the sense like you're just really passionate to start something new. The other thing that I kind of get is that, and this is the kind of the beginning of the week, meaning like over the weekend into Monday. I think on the outside you look like you're really slow going. Like maybe you're being real quiet. Maybe you're not really like if your friends call you and ask you to go out, you're probably like, no, I'm just gonna stay at home. Like from the outside, you just look like you're healing, like you're going. You look like you're. I'm seeing a sloth, and I don't mean that in a bad way, but you know how, you know, it's just kind of like slow and steady movements. The Six of Swords, if you get a chance to watch the How to Tarot here on my channel, you see 2 people in a boat. And one person is rowing very, very slowly, right? And you're going from churning waves, like from choppy waters to smooth waters, right? But the one thing about the Six of Swords is that the Six of Swords is it's hard to describe. The Six of Swords is really that energy, like, you know how when after you've been in a really, really tough situation, and it's interesting, you know, the Six of Swords follows the Five of Swords, which is a really rough card. It's really about wanting peace, you know. Have you ever, you know, it's funny when and I don't mean this to sound funny, but I'm sorry, it's hard to describe. You know, when you're young and all you want is excitement, right? Like when you don't know the dangers of the world. Basically, when you haven't, before you've been through a whole lot of crap, right? Like before you've been through a couple of crappy situations, all you want is excitement, right? But when you've actually gone through like a tumultuous relationship, or maybe you just had a really, like, you just quit like the worst job that you've ever had in your life, or, you know, maybe you moved out of your parents' house, maybe you're fighting with family, or, you know, you had to move house, you know, move house really at the spur of the moment. Sometimes when you've had so much chaos, all you want is peace, right? You're not, the Six of Swords is like that for me. I kind of think of it like I don't need excitement, right? I need boring, right? The Six of Swords is, I need boring. Like I've had enough quote unquote excitement to last me a while, right? And that's the Six of Swords. It's a very calming energy, but it's almost like that eerie kind of calm. It's like you've known some BS. So you want the level. Like you don't want highs and lows. You don't want uncertainty. You don't want anything unexpected. It's almost like, yeah, the mundane, the boring is boring, but that's a heck of a lot better than, you know, all of these ups and downs that you've been through, right? It's a little bit of it's a little bit of that eerie calm. It's a little bit of that numb kind of calm. And what I'm kind of seeing here is I'm kind of seeing that people, and actually when you look at this, you see the swords, behind the swords you see kind of a sun, right? I think what's happening, guys, is I think on the surface, like from the outside looking in, everyone thinks that people might be thinking, looking at you like you just went through something, because you look kind of calm, like you're just rowing your boat, right? You're taking slow, steady strides to getting someplace better. and that's how the outside world, that's your outward energy. But behind that, you see the sun peeking out from behind that. I think you have a whole lot more going on under the surface, because the root card is the Ace of Wands, and you see that bright sun there. I'm hearing on the down low. I'm hearing on the download. So I think what's happening is, I think you do have some exciting ideas. There's something that you really want to start that's getting you jazzed up. But I don't think that you're making it real public yet. I think you're keeping it to yourself. The other thing that I kind of get is, like, I think you're kind of towing the line. Like, it's almost like you're deciding, okay, am I ready for more excitement right now? Um, I can also see this as maybe you have gone through some kind of BS recently. Maybe you did have some kind of fallout with someone, or maybe you moved, or you had some kind of like drama go on in your life, and you've gotten a little bit of healing, and maybe you're kind of toying with the idea of trying something new, but you do still kind of feel like it's almost like you're wondering if, I'm hearing get back on the horse again. You know how if you've had kind of a bad experience and all you want, you almost have to force yourself, not even force yourself, but when you get thrown from the horse, right? Like you've been doing something really exciting and you get burned. You need time to heal, and that's the Six of Swords, right? Six of Swords is slowly rowing towards a better future. It's not exciting. It's almost a mind-numbing kind of place. Again, you're maintaining the status quo. You're not doing anything crazy exciting. You're not doing anything dramatic either, because you're healing. But here I get the sense like you're kind of jonesing. You might have an idea or the spark of something new. And the spark of something new is actually trying to break you out of this Six of Swords energy. But it's almost like you're from the outside looking in, all your friends, all your family still see you kind of steadily rowing. But I think there's something that's kind of stirring you up. The other thing I get is that maybe you have been in this healing energy for a little while now. Doesn't have to be a long while. And you're just really wondering if it's safe for you to kind of break out of that energy, right? Is it safe for you to try to do something exciting again, right? And again, I think with the sun, peeking out from the Six of Swords, I think you've been stuck, not in a bad way, but I really get the sense like you've been slowly rowing and healing from something, and now you have a new idea for something new, and you're wondering, okay, am I healed enough? Am I ready to do something new and exciting? Either that, you're either questioning that, and there's some kind of idea that's kind of stirring you. Either that, or you're keeping it kind of under wraps. You know that there's something that's really, you're about to break out of this energy, but everyone else around you thinks that you're still healing, right? You're about to break out of this energy. Now, in the middle of the week, you got Judgment, and this is crazy, guys. You got two catty corner aces, and then you got a 6 and then a 7. It's like a progression. And in the flat dab in the middle of all that, you got Judgment. Now, Judgment can be about someone judging you, but Judgment is also a calling. Like when I see 2 aces around Judgment, I'm thinking there is something that is calling you. There is something new. You see how these people are popping out of a coffin? Again, something took you out at the knees, so you've been healing. The universe is calling you back to the land of the living. Queen of Wands. Oh my God. And look, we've got a crown here, and we've got the wand here. Holy crud. God, you're being called. I honestly, I've not seen this movie complete. I haven't seen this movie in a long time, but I'm hearing the name of the movie, How Stella Got Her Groove Back. And it doesn't have to pertain to the movie or any of the events that occurred in the movie. I'm just thinking you're getting your groove back. You're getting your groove back. You're, again, the Six of Swords is about staying in this in-between state. Nothing too crazy, but nothing too depressing. You walk the line in the middle because you're healing. But you've got the sun breaking out of this. There's something exciting, and it's like over the weekend, something exciting is kind of calling to you, and you're ready, honey. You can be a man or a woman watching this. You are ready, and I see a wand here in her hand, and then I see a crown here on her head. You're ready to get your groove back. You're ready to come back to the land of the living. And by the middle of the week, something is going to be like, because the other thing is if you watch here on my channel, the How to Tarot and the Queen of Wands, she's the superstar. And when she walks into a room, everyone stops and stares. It's almost like I feel like something's trying to call to you. The universe is calling you, and this is going to be like a really big glow up. The other thing I kind of get is on a smaller scale, because I know this is a weekly energy. It's almost like you're coming back to life. Like, again, maybe you went through a breakup and you've been kind of on the down low. You haven't been hanging out with your friends. You've been staying real quiet, staying in, haven't been out. And then all of a sudden you feel better. Maybe you're starting to post stuff on your social media, and then the universe is like, get back out there, girl. That's what I'm hearing. Get back out there. And it's almost like you're excited about your new projects. You're excited about these new ideas. You finally, for the first time in a long time, get dressed up and go out, and it's like the universe is like, dun 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 dun. I'm hearing like the angels blowing the trumpets when you walk in the room, like, guess who's back? Sorry, did you miss me? Did you miss me? And it's almost like the new, like, regenerated you. It's like the new regenerated you. Now, by the end of the week, this is some beautiful energy, guys, because you got the Ace of Swords and you got the Seven of Cups. I do kind of feel like by the end of the week, 10 of Wands, Queen of Swords. I do think that, again, I think by the end of the week, I am kind of seeing, like, you don't want to push this too far too fast. And I think that's what you're worried about. I think in the middle of the week, you are feeling strong. You are feeling stronger. But I think you're not 100% healed yet. I do think by the end of the week, you're going to be kind of... You're gonna know that you have a lot of options out there, but I do think that it's still gonna feel a little overwhelming for you. But the beautiful thing about the end of the week is that because you're going from a 6 to a 7, before you felt really like limited. Like the only way forward that you saw was just, you rowing in that boat. Like you were only looking at kind of one step ahead of you. Right? One step at a time. I'm hearing that Jordan Sparks song, One Step at a Time. But I think the universe is kind of calling you to open that range a little bit, to kind of think kind of big. And by the end of the week, I think you are opening up your mind. But I do think that, I think that it's almost like you gotta kind of take it slow, because the more you open yourself up to opportunity, yes, the world is your oyster. Yes, you could choose any cup that you want. But it's almost like all that choice is it's still a little overwhelming for you. But I think that the universe just wants to let you know that you have opportunity. Yeah, 9 of Coins. You are safe. You are safe. You can do whatever you want to do. I think the other thing is just, sometimes it takes us as humans to recognize that you can do whatever you want. You are not limited by anything. Right? You are not limited by anything. And I think by the weekend, you're actually starting to recognize that. You might feel a little like you have too many options, like the options that are out there. It's almost like the big wide world is almost a little too intimidating. Also, with this being a 6 and this being a 7, maybe you've been kind of hold up in your house, in your space. Maybe you have been healing from something, and again, that can take any form. Maybe you changed jobs, maybe you changed homes, maybe you had a breakup, maybe you had a divorce, maybe some other big change in your life occurred. So getting back out there is a little, it's overwhelming. It's very overwhelming, but the universe just knows. The universe just wants to show you, and I think by the weekend, it's like your mind is actually opening up to the fact that you can choose whatever path you want, whatever destiny you choose, but you might still be feeling a little bit foggy. But at least your mind, by the weekend, I think the purpose of this, and honestly guys, I feel like maybe the universe is just trying to get you to get out a little bit. I do get the sense like maybe you've been kind of, again, maybe you've been staying inside a lot. Maybe you haven't been going out with your friends. Maybe you've been healing from something, and the universe, there's some kind of activity or something that's getting you real stoked. And I do think by the middle of the week, I do kind of feel like a glamorous return in the middle of the week. Like you're coming back from the dead is kind of what I'm hearing. And you got a grand re-entry here, guys. But I do think that you do want to take it slow. You don't have to rush it. But by the weekend, I think your mind is broadened, right? And I do this too. And goodness knows, we're not. If you're in North America, if you're in the United States, we're not that far out from coming out of quarantine, right? There's been a lot of isolation with world events, and maybe you have felt a little bit boxed in. But I also sense with these cups here, I think it might be kind of emotionally too. I think that maybe you just felt like you didn't have a whole lot of options, and by the weekend you're realizing, oh my gosh, there's a whole wide world out there that I can have whatever I want. But the only problem with that is having that many choices is overwhelming. Sometimes it can make you feel a little bit more lost, because the Seven of Cups is about confusion, and the Ace of Swords is about clarity. So these two are contradictory to one another, but it is almost like that clarity is making you more confused, if that makes any sense at all. Now, your oracle card is, you got the Runner and you got the Red Runner. So the Red Runner is a little bit more of the cautionary energy, but it's not bad. And we'll go ahead and read it. Let me go ahead and see here. Sorry, I have a little pamphlet here. Okay, the Red Runner. It alerts us that someone is too single-minded and speedy, wasting energy. Slow down and look around. There you go, guys. You know what? Actually, that makes a heck of a lot of sense, because Wands is about impulsive energy. It's about, there you go, guys. Maybe this is telling you, maybe you are feeling called to get back out in the world, but the universe, the universe is calling, but it doesn't mean that you have to run out. It doesn't mean that you have to run out. Definitely, if you feel like dressing up, dress up. But yeah, you probably don't want to rush. Try not to rush. I know you're excited to get back out there, and I do think that the other thing is, with this much Wands energy, this might be a creative endeavor. Again, something is calling to you, and goodness knows, when I know when I find something new that I love to do, I get gung-ho excited about it, right? But it is, it's just letting you know that yes, there is a big, wide, wonderful world out there, but try to wade into it. What I'm hearing. It's a marathon, not a sprint. There we go. It's a marathon, not a sprint. So definitely conserve your energy. There's nothing wrong with getting a solid start out the starting gate, but try to pace yourself. The other thing is, you don't want to burn out too quickly. The other thing I get is that you don't want to make any impulsive decisions. Again, if you've had some kind of relationship healing, maybe you're talking to 7 guys, and all of a sudden, the other thing, and when you're talking to that many people, or when you're kind of jumping out at the starting gate like that, you don't want to make a rushed decision. You don't want to pick a future that might not, because the traditional Seven of Cups, you got different things popping out of each of those cups, and not all of them are the ideal future for you, right? But this is beautiful energy, guys. You're breaking out. You've got 2 aces, and you've got Judgment. You've got a lot to look forward to. But I will say that if you feel like, again, if you feel like you're making it a sprint, slow down a little bit. Just kind of pace yourself. Not telling you can't exude your energy. Rock on. You're showing up at this Queen of Wands. Rock on with your bad self. Definitely shine bright. But just maybe try to get a steady pace. The other thing is that the best advice for the Seven of Cups is the moment that you're not 100% certain about something, or, sleep on it. Give it 24 hours, right? Especially if this is Wands energy, because fire signs, fire energy is always impulsive. And I've got Sagittarius. My Neptune is in Sagittarius. It throws me for a loop sometimes too. That's one thing about it, is that sometimes things look so dreamy to me and exciting, and you think it's going to be what you think them is, not what you think them is. But you can still do what you want to do. You can still get your wiggles out. Get excited about what's coming. But the moment you start to feel lost or confused or overwhelmed, just sleep on it. Give it 24 hours. And I almost promise you that the decision that you made, like I do this sometimes when shopping. If something is like, I always say, if something costs more than $100, unless I get that gut instinct that says, okay, it's not going to be here. If I walk away, it won't be here when I get back. So sometimes I make a judgment call on it, but 90% of the time I will sleep on it. I'll be like, okay, this is expensive. This is a big investment. I need to take some time. And if I still want it, like legitimately, what my litmus test is? If I think of the item the next day without reminding myself, like there's been a few times I've had the wants, and I think, okay, let me sleep on it. I give it 24 hours, and the next day it comes to mind, like, okay, I still want that. I didn't forget about it. It's something that I still is in the forefront of my mind. Then I know that might be something worth investing in. But if I completely forgot about it, and it takes me, seeing a picture of it or something like that to go, oh yeah, I was interested in buying that, that's probably not worth investing in. So definitely, if you're starting to feel fuzzy, give yourself some time to really make sure, kind of, again, it's a marathon, not a sprint. All right, so deck number 2, we've got the Slow Tarot by Lacey Bryant. So what's your energy for the week? Deck number 2. Take all 3? Okay, I'm going to take all 3. Middle of the week. Wow. Middle of the week. I'm going to take the top 2 cards. Holy Toledo, guys. End of the week, please. Okay. Please clarify. Okay. All right. Kind of makes sense. Yeah. All right. Okay, let's go ahead and get your clarifier. What's our Nova card, please? Okay, so. And please don't get discouraged by the burgundy cards. They're not negative. They're just a little bit more. The energy is a little bit more cautionary. It's just a little bit. Just like all cards in tarot have shadow and light, so they're not bad. They're actually good advice when you get the red, the burgundy card in the Nova set. So, well, guys, oh my gosh, I'm seeing such glorious energy. Can I just tell you that we're seeing the rays of God? Like you're seeing that bright sun, and all week long. It's like the beginning of the week straight through to the end of the week. Now, what I'm seeing here, guys, is, I got a little bit of a sunburn, and now I'm getting into that phase where my skin is just itching, like I just want to rub my back up against a tree or something. Okay, but beginning of the week, you've got the Three of Cups, you got the Six of Wands, and you got the Four of Wands. Oh my gosh, guys! I mean, the Four of Wands in this deck literally has a marching band going by in the background, right? And the Six of Wands is really, in the traditional Rider-Waite-Smith, you see that victory parade, right? I'm seeing parades, guys. I'm seeing parades, and I get the sense like I have a feeling like you're going to have some kind of celebration going on over the weekend. Um, I'm not sure. Sometimes the Four of Wands can be an actual celebration, like something like a wedding. So if you know, it could be something like that. Now, when I look at this, when I look at the three women there, they're kind of wearing fancy dresses. So maybe you're attending somebody's wedding, or one other way I can read this is maybe you're attending some kind of sporting event. I do think that if you play sports, you're probably going to have a winning weekend, like your team's going to win, right? The other thing I kind of get is that we are kind of midsummer, and we do see a lot of this beautiful energy, like a lot of people wearing short skirts and shorts, and so this could just be where maybe you do kind of go out to some kind of event over the weekend. Maybe you are actually seeing parades. Um, because these are both kind of parade cards, that's entirely possible. Like maybe you're going to I'm seeing Main Street, like a Main Street kind of thing. With the Three of Cups, maybe it's some kind of vineyard or like wine festival. Maybe you're going to some kind of event. Like I know in my state, there's an air balloon kind of thing going on, or just some kind of midsummer event. If this is like a wedding or some kind of like party over the weekend, you are going to be kind of hanging out with your friends. You're going to be I'm seeing a lot of friendship. I'm seeing a lot of peer activity here, and it's going to feel really, really great. But the one thing is that I do get a lot of celebration. I get a lot of harvest from this. I do get like toasting, like I maybe if you've had some kind of team effort, again, if you play on a team, or maybe you won a championship, or maybe you're getting together with a group of people and celebrating some kind of group victory. I'm really kind of seeing that. Um, I'm also seeing that it could be some kind of convention or something like that. I know I'm a writer, and when I go to writers conventions, when I meet up with folks who are of my writing teams, and it feels really great. There are accolades that can be won, like awards that people win. So when one person wins, we all win, right? Or if one person from your group, like again, if a person from my state wins the writers award for the Writers of America or something like that, that's a great victory, and we all celebrate. So I'm kind of feeling that over the weekend and into the beginning of the week, like kind of like a party atmosphere. That's really exciting, guys. Now, by the middle of the week, this energy is just so positive. This is really, really positive, guys. Now, I see by the middle of the week, you've got the Nine of Pentacles, and then you've got the Star. I just think by the middle of the week, you feel, I do feel like almost like coming off the cusp of this, like, you know how sometimes when you've been hanging out with other people, their energy really kind of transfers to you. Like, again, I can use my writers group as an example. When I go to a writers convention, I could be working on the same manuscript for like years, and then once I've been to a convention and I've had fun going to all the events and all the parties and stuff like that, and then when I come home, it's like I do feel that kind of independent energy. I do. It's almost like the Star is about like hope and positive it's positive thinking, right? It's looking to the future and thinking, I could do that. I could be successful like that. Like, I have faith in my ideas. I can make it, right? The other thing I kind of get is that I do think that something about this weekend just really gets you kind of jived up. And it's interesting. You look at how nicely these women are dressed. It's almost like you're carrying that energy on with you. And you see all the flowers too, but you see how all the flowers are paintings in the background. I think it's almost like you're carrying that energy with you by the middle of the week. And again, if you won an award, or if someone else, if you did some kind of like celebrating with your crew, with your posse, with your tribe, I think that you're still feeling the high of that by the middle of the week. Like, you feel really strong. I do see that you're more alone by the middle of the week. I think all the social interaction was over the weekend into the beginning of the week. But I think it just has you really excited for the future. Um, it's funny, I am getting like a convention vibe, guys. I think that you went on some kind of you went out with other people with similar interests, and I do think that there was just some kind of like acclaim. Like, I'm not sure if someone won an award or won some kind of contest. Um, but it has you all hopeful. It has you all hopeful. The other thing I get is that I feel like you're kind of planning for the future. Like, you know how sometimes when you spend time with other people, it gives you kind of a vision for the future, right? And it's almost like you've got it all mapped out in your head. You're charting your course, right? And you're full of hope, though. You're full of hope. The other thing is, I get that I just feel like you just feel, the other thing I get is that you feel real cultured. You feel like a lady. Like, I do get the feeling like you did something that was different over the weekend. You might have exposed yourself to something that's kind of new and fun. Um, but I do get the sense like you're just feeling very self-reliant. The other thing I kind of get is that this experience, whatever happened, all this joy has made you feel really independent, like you can rely on yourself. Like, whatever happens to you in the future, you're good. You're ready to go, right? You're ready to go. Now, by the end of the week, this is some interesting energy, because middle of the week you got the Nine of Pentacles, which is very self-sufficient. Like, you don't, the Nine of Coins is doesn't need money at all. Doesn't need money at all. She's self-reliant, right? Self-made. But by the end of the week, we've got the Five of Coins, and underneath it we have the Fool. And again, you see them kind of jumping off the cliff there. And then you've got the Knight of Wands. So we've got more Wands energy here. Now, there's two ways I can kind of read this. Is that, first way I can read it is that it is quite possible that you might have under budgeted a little bit. Sometimes when I see the Nine of Coins followed by the Five of Pentacles, I always kind of see it's a little bit of a feast or famine energy, and not in a bad way. But you know how sometimes when you plan those trips, like, I remember one time I did go to a writers convention that was originally supposed to take place in Tennessee, but it later got changed to being Disney World in Florida. And of course, I had budgeted out the hotel, I had budgeted out meals and all of that. I'd saved up enough money, but when the venue changes to freaking Disney World, it's like, okay, I wasn't planning on like adding in $60, Epcot tickets, and that's just for one of the parks, right? So what I'm kind of seeing here is that it's quite possible that you might have overextended yourself a little financially, and there's no harm in that. You kind of see the bright colors here, you know. So what I'm kind of seeing here is that maybe, you know how it is when you just come off of the vacation and you come back home and you're still feeling like the luxury of it, like, okay, I was on vacation, I got to go out to eat every meal, and I got to stay in a nice hotel, and you felt very elegant, right? You felt like on top of the world. But then when you get back home and you're like, oh gosh, I might have overdone my budget a little bit. So going into the weekend, you might be a little tight on cash, and again, that fool's energy underneath. And then what I am kind of seeing here is that one other way I can kind of read it is maybe you really did budget fine, but then by the weekend, I'm seeing a lot of desert landscape. So I'm getting the sense like maybe you have to drive somewhere unexpectedly, or maybe there's just something else that you kind of have to do the following weekend, and it's just not it's not leaving you a lot of gas money. I'm hearing kind of like out of gas, or you're just kind of a little financially strapped, right? Now, one other way I can kind of see this, especially with the Knight of Wands and the Fool, is that you could be relying on your optimism a little bit to bail you out. And believe me, the universe provides. I've had a few times in my life where I'm very good with my checkbook. I always make sure all bills are covered. But I remember one time I had like this fiasco with my insurance bill, and I was only supposed to pay one amount, and then they debited my account like 3 times that amount, and it really depleted me. Like it left me paid up on my insurance. Like it covered my entire insurance bill for 6 months, but it left me with no grocery money. And I was like, oh my God, what am I gonna do? It's already paid. I can't get the money back. But it was amazing. It was funny. I just kind of put a prayer out to God and a prayer out to the universe, and it was a funny. The very next day I got a reimbursement check for the overage, and I was able to deposit that back into my bank account and cover it. So what I'm kind of seeing here is I do kind of see that, again, I feel like you were probably living kind of large, over the weekend. We might have gone a little bit into the daily living budget a little bit, and it might be making you feel a little strapped. I'm hearing gas and food wise. But I think that you trust that the universe is going to bail you out. The other thing it's kind of saying is you definitely don't want to be in a scarcity mindset, and I know it's hard not to do. Like with me, when I ended up having, I'm looking at my bank balance, it's not there. I can't buy food with what I got in there in my checking. But it was amazing how I refused to think of it as a scarcity mindset. I just kind of, again, create a visualization. I imagined me going to the grocery store and filling my cart, and me running my cart, and my card going through, and that's exactly what happened, right? I do also think that you are going to get some kind of windfall, but it's just very important that you don't keep a scarcity mindset. Try to use creative visualization. If this is about like food or money or paying a bill, just imagine as if it were done. Be grateful for it, and then the universe comes through in really miraculous ways. And I know that sounds so woo-woo. Now, one other way I can kind of read it is that it's quite possible that this might be your energy, where maybe you did go to some kind of event over the weekend, and by the middle of the week you're feeling real strong. What I'm kind of seeing is almost social media, because that's the other thing with the star. Sometimes that can be a social media, like someone who looks like a star online. Because when I see stars against the sky, I kind of think of, the way the background looks on a phone. And so one way that this could be is that maybe you did have a really good weekend somewhere, and you were kind of posting pictures, where it's quite possible that someone comes up to you. And this could be family, it could be, could be children, could be a teenager. could be a teenager, because this definitely looks like a Voyager's kind of card, like somebody. So what it might be also is that this could be a separate energy. This could be someone who's coming to you, because the Five of Cups looks like someone who's crouched down below you with, a cup in their hand, and coins are being tossed into the cup. And if you're coming across in the Nine of Coins energy. So this could be a child who might be a little strapped for money who's coming to you. Could be a family member or a young adult or teenager. Could be a sibling if you have a brother or something of that age. And what I'm kind of getting here is that they're kind of off having adventures, or there's something that they really want to go do. But I'm definitely hearing out of gas. And again, the other thing that I definitely get here is that with all these three pictures, these people are not dressed extravagantly. So if this is someone who's approaching you, I don't think that they're approaching you for shallow reasons. I think they really would use the money towards what they're telling you they're going to use it for. Like, I don't think this is someone going, hey, can I borrow $50 and, can I borrow $300, and then they're going out and buying like an expensive purse or something stupid. I think this person legitimately is like, I'm out of gas money, or I just want to get a hot dog. Could you spot me some money? And I think you do give them that money, but I think what happens is they see that you're doing well, and that could be from social media or something like that. But I do think that you're helping someone out. The other thing I get is that it's almost like you're being their benefactor by doing that. You're really helping this person out by. The other thing I'm kind of hearing is paying it forward. The thing I'm drawn to is you see these colors here, and you see all these bright colors in the background there. It's almost like you're passing on your prosperity to this person, and they really need it. Like it's almost like you would be that saving grace to them. That creative visualization that I was telling you about, like that check coming in the mail, you might be doing that for someone else. And the other thing I get is that this person is probably... The Nine of Wands is very straightforward. The other thing I get is that I don't think that you see this person on the daily. I think this person is kind of in and out of your life. I don't think they only come to you when they need money. I think that they're a journeyer. This person journeys. They go places. They do things, right? One other way I can kind of read it too is that maybe you've had some kind of cultural, like I'm getting a real culture from this, again, like Main Street parades and tea parties in the garden here. Maybe this person saw you have an adventure and they want to go on an adventure, but they don't have the money that you do. So they come to you and say, hey, can I get the money to go do this thing? I really want to do it. But again, this whole line here towards the weekend is not extravagantly dressed. It's very salt of the earth, what I'm seeing here. And so the red cell, it says, warns of a period of severe limitation. Be patient and seek a way out. Oh gosh, guys. So, that really does kind of play into the energy again, and I've definitely been there. Sometimes when you go to that, you know your budget in the back of your head, but then you go to the weekend carnival or whatever, and then you feel so good. The other thing I kind of get is maybe you're out with your friends, so you kind of, you're like, oh, I can go ahead and buy, go take us all out to dinner. I'll be okay. But then by the end of the week, you are kind of, pinching pennies a little bit. But the other thing I kind of get from this is that I do get the sense that you have several moments of feeling that kind of affluence. But it is a little feast or famine here, guys. I think that if you have this real lavish kind of feeling, it does feel great. It does make you feel real good. One other thing that I am kind of getting from this energy is not so much keeping up with the Joneses, but it's almost like showing other people that you you are as cultured as they are. Like you can, when you clean up good is what I'm hearing. Like you can wear the fancy clothes, you can go out. So it might be a little bit of hobnobbing here, not in a mean way or a bad way, because it feels good to you. It feels good to you, but it might blow your budget a little bit. Then then it's almost like by the end of the week you got to take off the silk dress and put on your jeans again. um, the other thing that I kind of get again, one other way I kind of see it here too is that you might have to go to the gas station that charges a little bit less, or you might have to go for the less expensive, the less, I kind of feel like you were eating steak over the weekend, and then by the next weekend it might be a little bit more frugal, right? But it is showing like a limitation. This could be another person though too. It is quite possible that you are financially well off, but you might have someone come to you that really needs money for something, and then it becomes like a restriction to you because you're helping someone out. Either that or this is your energy because, but whatever this event was, I am getting like some kind of like gathering, but again, just like me going to a writers convention in Disney World, you sometimes blow a little bit of dough on that, but it feels great, and you feel like a different person, right? You feel like a whole new you. But alright guys, so we're going to move on. We've got deck number 3, the Divine Tarot by Yoshitani. So deck number 3, what's your energy for the week? Ooh, okay. Ooh, okay, middle of the week, please. What's our energy for the middle of the week? Okay, we'll go ahead and take both. Wands for Wands. Okay, the Four of Wands might be our common denominator card here, guys. Okay, end of the week, please. Got 2 fours, 4 swords, Justice, okay. Temperance, okay. King of Wands. Okay, Temperance and the King of Wands is trying to pop out, so I'm seeing we already have a theme of a lot of Justice cards here, guys. A lot of fairness here. Ooh, the Officer. All 3, it's interesting, all 3 of the Oracle decks came out in the Burgundy, which is not, again, like I said, it's not a bad card, it's just a little bit more, the more cautionary energy. It's the same meaning, it has a positive meaning, but just a little bit more of like an advice kind of card. So, let me go ahead and I'm just gonna, let's see, one clarifier. Temperance, okay, the Temperance really wants to come out. The World. So the World really wants to. Okay. But what I'm seeing here is I'm seeing a lot of balance. Justice is about balancing the scale. The Queen of Swords is balanced. She remains, she remains balanced in her emotions. And Temperance is about calming the waters, like, calming things down. I get the sense in the beginning of the week, over the weekend and the beginning of the week, you're keeping a very detached kind of mindset. I sense that you're keeping yourself very mentally balanced. In both of these cards, it looks like the person's kind of in a meditative stance. You see, you see her kind of standing there, just looking straight ahead, and then here you have someone who is, kind of, meditating here. The other thing I get is that with this energy, you might be doing a lot of mental kind of activities over the weekend. Like, again, maybe you're going out for a walk. I get the sense that there are activities that the Queen of Swords would like to do. Like maybe you're doing, maybe you're playing mind puzzle games. Maybe you're doing crosswords. Maybe you're reading articles that interest you. You could, with it being swords, you could be working on social media content. I know it's dorky, but I love to scrapbook anything that is words and paper and documenting and doing. I also, it's interesting. It's funny. Over the weekend, I have another channel that talks about eco. It's called Eco Girl in a Modern World, and it talks about. I need to do a new post for that channel. I'm sorry, guys. I've been neglecting it. It's just been very busy in my life lately. But there was a great. I'd like to cut down on plastic whenever possible, and I actually found a really great shampoo that's a bar shampoo, like no plastic container at all, and the packaging of the bar shampoo was so pretty. Like, it was so pretty. It was paper, and I could repurpose it for scrapbooking, and it's just kind of like creative things like that, and it almost looks like the flowers here. But the temperance, I see all of her hands, and in each of her hands she's got all of these things going on. One other way I can kind of read this is that I feel like on the outside you just look really cool, calm, collected, but on the inside your mind might be racing a little bit. You might be doing a lot of activities to kind of calm yourself, to keep yourself balanced. Maybe you're trying not to think about something, so you're kind of distracting yourself. I'm guilty of that too. I have 12 million hobbies. I like I like photography. I like scrapbooking. I like watercolor with glass pen calligraphy. And what happens is I end up starting all of these. I dabble in all these things, and sometimes what you do is if your mind's preoccupied with something and you're trying to keep your mind off it, having a hobby is a great way to do that. But then, starting 12 things over the weekend, like, okay, let me go ahead and do that, let me go ahead and hodgepodge that magazine collage, and then let me go ahead and cut out my pictures, let me go ahead and journal, and then it's almost like you're doing all of these mental hobbies, and it's keeping you really busy. But inside, what you're doing is you're doing all of that to keep balanced, right? You're trying to keep balanced. You're trying to. I am getting a little bit of emotional stifling there. The Ace of Wands. Oh my gosh. Yes, I think you're going to be very active. The other thing is, you notice the Ace of Wands kind of looks like a paintbrush there. You're going to be very creative over the weekend. I think it's a lot of mental activity, though. A lot of mental. Maybe you're writing something, or again, maybe doing some kind of creative social media content. You're gonna be really busy. You're gonna be really busy. But one thing I am getting is, I feel like I feel like it mellows you out, though. It mellows you out. It's like when you do all these things, it helps you stay balanced. The other thing is that maybe you have a really busy work 9 to 5, and this is your way of kind of expressing yourself, like kind of decompressing, is by doing something creative. But I am getting a sense of balance. The other thing I get is that I also get kind of a sense of boundaries. Yeah, I'm getting kind of a sense of boundaries. Now, this is really beautiful, guys. Now, one thing I am going to go ahead and point out, and this is interesting, and this is the first time I've ever noticed this before, is in the middle of the week, you've got the Nine of Wands. And the Nine of Wands is really that it's that endurance card, right? You've gone through a lot of trials and tribulations, but you're going to keep on going, right? And you see she's very innocent. She's got this little doll. One thing I've never noticed is in the background of the Queen of Swords, you see how she's kind of got, it's such a beautiful picture. She's wearing flowers, and you see the sky in the background. But this is the first time I've noticed this, is that she's got a line of impaled people behind her. I'm sorry, I don't mean to laugh. I do kind of mean to laugh, because it's like the Queen of Swords, that's not the first time that I've seen a Queen of Swords card talk about, like, cutting off a head. Believe me, what is it? The Zillick Tarot does that too, but it's more about an unmasking. You know, usually the Queen of Swords, you don't screw with the Queen of Swords. If you come at her false, she will rip that mask off. And she slays demons, right? She beheads anything that is not gonna, I'm not gonna say disturbs her peace, but she doesn't permit dishonesty in her court. You come at her right or not at all. She has boundaries, right? But it's interesting, that's the first time I've noticed like the impaling there, and then you see all the impaling here. So you're not decapitating anyone this week. I'm not saying that. But what I'm seeing here is that in this image, over the weekend, you see that what you see in the background is in the past, right? Like you don't see the skulls. You don't see, this has like been there a long time, and you see she's all dressed up and lovely, right? It's almost like all of this is behind her, right? In her past. But by the middle of the week, it's right there, like fresh behind you. And what I'm kind of seeing here is that I do get the feeling like this might be a little bit of relationship related. And I'm just going to throw it out there, guys. You know how, like, maybe you live next door to someone that you used to date, or maybe you have a job that, like, say for instance you work at the mall and the person that you used to date works at the store right next to yours. So Monday through Friday you never know if you're going to run into this person, right? But over the weekend, you know you're safe, right? Over the weekend, it's almost like over the weekend you feel strong. Over the weekend, no one can screw with you. And over the weekend, you don't let your problems get to you, because you just, again, I'm getting like a decompression. Like, the other thing I kind of get is that with this both meaning balance and boundaries, I think you draw a strong line between like your work life and your home life. And I think that you get a great balance and peace from doing creative things. I do think, like, mentally stimulating things. But I do think that you get this balance and this, like, you're able to keep your guard up when it's your time. Like, when it's your time, I hope this makes sense, guys. I know this is making, I'm hearing myself talk and I'm not making sense. I'm sorry. I'm trying to describe it, but it's one of those things that, like, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, you are in your power. Like, all this challenge is behind you. You know, anybody who came at you wrong, they're done, they're impaled, they're behind you, right? And that you have strong boundaries where it's like, over the weekend, this is my time. I'm not going to worry about work. I'm not going to about doing this. I'm going to do my scrapbooking. I'm going to do my photography. I'm going to post my stuff on Instagram. I'm going to, edit all those photos I've been meaning to. It's almost like you're going to keep yourself so busy, but it's meditative. It's cathartic to you. And those are your boundaries, okay? I'm at home, I'm relaxing, I'm not worrying about anyone or anybody, I'm not worried about seeing my ex, I'm in my zone, right? And that's your energy at the beginning of the week. By the middle of the week, I get the sense you've got the 9 of Wands above the 4 of Wands. So I can kind of read this one of two ways. You might be kind of stressed out. This could be a relationship situation, because the Queen of Wands is a little bit of the single woman card. But she's not single woman in a bad way. If she were in the reverse, she'd be a real piece of work, right? So it's not a witchy card. If you see the Queen in the reverse, that's when you want to be afraid. But she knows her worth. But what I kind of get from this combination is that I am getting like a sense of, like, you're trying to keep your emotional peace. You're trying to keep your emotional peace, and I think that there's something that kind of can rattle you, right? And I can tell you, one of the biggest things that rattle you is relationships, right? Like, again, over the weekend, you could be doing your own thing. You can working on your Instagram. You can be working, and you're happy, right? Don't need a man. Don't need a man. And also, if anybody, if you are separated from someone because they were being a player or screwing around, you definitely don't want, it's almost like all of those impaled people were people who tried to screw with you. And it's you saying, okay, I don't need to take that, but it doesn't mean that it doesn't get to you, though, right? On the outside, on the outside, the Queen of Swords is almost frosty, she doesn't let anything get to her. But on the inside, she has a heart, and nothing is worse than, like, maybe you broke up with someone and then this ex is going around with a new person, and that's a struggle for you, right? It's almost like it kind of breaks through your calm a little bit. But that's what I'm almost kind of getting here, guys, is that I think you're almost kind of afraid, or by the middle of the week, you gotta keep your, it's almost like you're in a strong place over the weekend because you're away from your triggers, is what I'm getting. You're away from whatever's triggering you. But by the middle of the week, it's almost like those triggers are coming back again, right? Those impaled people are not in the background anymore. They're flaming skulls, right? And these are fairy tales. So what it is this is a story. This is like a Danish story about a witch who puts this girl through a lot of trials and tribulations, and she's forthright, right? She stands strong, and that's what I'm kind of seeing here, guys, is that I think you're standing strong. You're standing strong. The other thing that I get here is, I do think, and I'm just getting a strong feeling, guys, with the Four of Wands here, with that being a little bit of a marriage card, I'm going to come out and say it. I do think that you might have some kind of trigger going on, like you're being real strong and true to yourself, but by the middle of the week, you might have that resolve kind of tested. Your ex might be coming in front of you with someone else, looking all happy, and it feels like a challenge to you. It's almost like you got to keep yourself together. You see how she's clinging to that doll, right? And it's almost like you're the same girl. It's just, you almost see it in the eyes, You see it in the eyes. It's the same person, but you almost feel smaller than... Your true form is this, right? You're a strong woman, but all of us feel weak when our emotions are touched, or when something triggers us, right? And I do think that in the middle of the week, you might have something that's kind of triggering you. Now, if it's not relationship related, I really get the sense that it might be something like that. Like, you're feeling great when the source of the trigger is nowhere near you. You feel strong, you feel fantastic, but then the moment that you see, oh, okay, you're out in public and you see this person canoodling with their new boo, and then you're like, oh God, okay, hold it together. You're shaken, right? But you're not going to give up. You're not going to give up. There's a reason that you have these boundaries in place, but it makes you feel small, right? It makes you feel small. It makes you feel a little weak, but you're never going to give into this, though, right? Now, one other way that I can kind of read it is that it's possible that maybe you do just have some kind of challenges going on in the middle of the week. Where, like, again, I think the same scenario over the weekend, you get to decompress. I do get the sense like you do the creative, and I think mental. There's something very mental, almost kind of intellectual, some kind of intellectual craft that you do. But it makes you feel very peaceful and level. But by the middle of the week, it's almost like you get back into the thick of it, and you're kind of exhausted. I do feel some kind of like trials or tribulations by the middle of the week. And now, one other way I can read it is that if this is like a work thing, maybe by the middle of the week you are getting really challenged by your job or other stressors. It could be your family or family. It could be stuff going on in your outside world that's really kind of setting you off, because this could just flat out be stress, right? Um, one other thing is that because this is a queen, you might have a really intellectual job or something that really challenges you. Again, I'm hearing headhunter, headhunter, and with Justice and the Queen of Swords here, it's entirely possible you might work as a lawyer, or or something that is law or policy related. Um, and by the middle of the week, it just might feel really stressful. You might really have to kind of hold down the fort a little bit. Um, Again, it might be things you might really be going through it, and you got to stay strong, right? If that's the case, I do think that if you're married or if you have a boyfriend or girlfriend, that they're going to be real supportive of you. One thing with the Four of Wands is that I do kind of see that that's a kind of mirroring energy. I like to think of that. It's a little bit. It's a twin flame card in the sense that if you have a partner or your boyfriend or girlfriend just knows you so well that they know when you come home at the end of the night, they can tell that you're stressed out. It's almost like they're kind of mirroring your energy. And they know when to be there for you. The other thing I kind of get is that they know when you come home in that energy how to make it better. Like again, if they need to give you some space, or if they make dinner so you don't have to worry about it. It's just kind of sweet stuff like that, because they know that you've been through a lot, or that you're going through a lot with other parts of with what you've got going on. Yeah, I do just kind of feel like, one last way I can kind of read it is that this could possibly be your boyfriend or girlfriend's energy. Like maybe your spouse is going through kind of a tough situation, and you're just kind of being there for them, like what they're going through, you'll go through with them. But I am getting more of a sense like it's your energy, like it's your struggle. It's what's happening with you, not with anyone else. But you know what? I am getting kind of like a separation vibe, guys. I am kind of getting the sense like this is some kind of trial. Like again, like when you go out in public and you see someone, and it's like again, you feel small, you feel intimidated, but you're not going to give up. You're going to stay strong, right? You're just going to stay strong. Um, the other thing I get with the Four of Wands, it is a foundation card. Like, it's a foundation card. So, you know, um, one other way I can kind of see this is that if there's some reason that you have to defend a relationship, like if, maybe someone's kind of harshing on your relationship, it might be kind of that energy. But I'm getting more of a singleton vibe here, though, guys. I am getting more like you're a strong single woman, but there might be some kind of emotional triggers, and I get the sense like it might be a little. I don't think it's terribly unexpected, but I do think that whatever these triggers are, they make you they make you they make you feel vulnerable, right? And it's almost like you have to stay strong to get over them, to get past them. Now, by the end of the week, you got some beautiful energy. You got another major here. You got Justice, and underneath it, you got the Four of Swords. So again, I think Five of Swords, Queen of Cups. I am getting a strong sense, guys, that yeah, you might have to stand a little strong this week. I think one thing that is a common denominator of all this is truth, and I do think that if and I'm just going to run with the relationship scenario here just because it's making sense to me. It kind of feels right. You know how like when you break up with someone and then they turn around and get like a rebound and then they're showing off the new person, and you feel like it always makes you feel isolated because you're like, okay, well, I'm the single one. I didn't go out and find a new person right off the bat. So it makes it look like it makes you look like the cold wench, right? But with justice here, it's almost like justice will prevail, is what I'm kind of getting. The truth will come out, whatever situation, because you do have 4 and 4 here. And, oh, this is interesting. There's 8 arms. There's 4 on either side. And 8 is a number of karma. It's the number of Saturn, right? But I get the sense by the weekend, by the time you get towards the end of the week, justice will prevail. I think it's almost like you don't have to say anything. You don't have to defend your point. All you have to do is stay strong. Stick it out. Try not to let anything trigger you. The other thing is that this might feel like you might have something going on that's really testing you, right? And it might be testing your sense of fairness, or it might be testing, like, I do get the sense like something might be coming at you to make you look like you were either unfair or that you were cold to someone. And you weren't cold to someone, you don't put up with any BS. So it's almost like you might have like your character called into question. And again, it's that's stressful, right? That really tests you when someone tries to make you out to be something that you're not, right? The other thing I get is it's almost like sitting in front of the judge, right? Like if someone accuses you of doing something and you were just doing what was right, it's challenging, right? Even though when you know that you didn't do anything wrong, someone putting you in that position, right? And the same thing goes with love relationships. When one person, maybe you weren't putting up with any crap from this person, and then they, you break up and you stand your ground, like, okay, I'm not putting up with that. Then they try to bring someone else around you, like, oh, okay, well, this person's better than you, and you're like, no, they're not. Boy, please. I did what I did for a reason. Those heads are on a stake for a reason, because come at me straight or don't bother. And this other person is going to be cute for a little while, and they're going to see your game after a while too. But I know this is just a weekly energy, but I kind of get the sense by the weekend, you don't have to do anything. It's almost like you've been challenged enough, You've been challenged enough, either by these triggers or by people trying to subject you to something, or this could be just work. You're holding strong, you're doing your thing. And then by the end of the week, I feel like justice will prevail. What is meant to happen, the balanced resolution will come, right? And this is very Libra energy, very Libra. Very Libra. And you got 2 Fords, which are very stable, and Temperance has 8 arms. But the 4 of Swords is really about, one thing that's interesting about this 4 of Swords cards is this is a devil hound. I know this deck is a little graphic. We're getting a little bit more of the graphic cards in this read. But what it is that I get the sense that this is kind of you, like, how, and I definitely get this way too, if you're doing what is right, when you're doing what is right, and you're sticking to your principles, that's what I'm hearing, you're sticking to your principles, but someone has the balls to say, well, you're wrong, or it isn't that you're trying to be right, but it's almost like this, like you got a knife through the mouth and you're all tied up. You really want to go. If you've ever had to go to court about something, how when you have to plead your case, And it's crazy because you're like, why am I in court? Why do I have to defend myself? I didn't do anything wrong. It's kind of like that feeling. By the end of the week, the universe, and the other thing that's cracking me up is that you got the officer, which is like a cop, but you got like the burgundy, which is the red officer. It's like the negative energy of the cop. So I do get the sense like this whole read talks about standing up for what's right. There's some kind of defense that you have to come to, but it's gonna be no problem for you. But the only reason that it's no problem for you is because you're strong AF. Um, you could be Libra or Aquarius. I'm not getting too much Gemini energy. I'm definitely getting like Libra or Aquarius. Probably more Libra. Because you know what's right and what's wrong. But by the weekend, what I'm kind of seeing here is that the universe is going to ask you to check out a little bit. And again, it's almost like you're going to want to plead your case, but you kind of you have to tie your mouth closed. Like you have to bite your tongue is what I'm getting. You have to bite your tongue. Just because justice will come out in the end, but it's almost like if you pop off at the mouth, then justice might go astray. And that happens sometimes because justice is, because you've seen it, not all cases are fairly judged, right? You could think, okay, I didn't do anything wrong, but then it could, the ruling still might not go in your favor. Yeah, the high priestess. It's almost like you have to kind of trust that everything's going to be okay. Now, one other way that I can kind of read this is that it's quite possible that you might get dragged into something because of some kind of a romantic tie. Maybe you had some kind of relationship, because that's the other thing with Libra or air signs is that, those are love relationships. It's the seventh house. It's quite possible that some kind of previous love relationship, either that or this could be like a boyfriend or girlfriend might have something legal going on, and what they're going through, you're going through. But I do get the sense like you feel like it's more happening to you, and I do get the sense like you feel like it's unfair. You feel like you shouldn't have to defend yourself, you shouldn't have to be tested. That's the other thing I get is like, the other thing I think someone's trying to test your fortitude. Like they're trying to test your principles, your scruples. And can I just tell you, you're really badass because I love your energy, because it's like, okay, come at me, bro. You think that I'm doing something dishonest? Please. But it seems unfair. It's almost like, again, like you have to bite your tongue. You really want to go at this person like, what do you mean you think I'm being unfair? But this is about rest, though. The Four of Swords is about a necessary rest. Necessary, like required, meaning like if you need to tag out. It's funny, we talked 2 weeks ago about, in the video that I talked about spell work, we talked about tagging out when the universe is telling you to tag out. This is a major arcana above the Four of Swords. The universe is telling you to tag out. It's going to balance these scales for you. And if you did the right thing, and again, the Nine of Wands, if you've been holding your ground, standing for what your principles are. The other thing I get is that by the weekend, I get the sense like you don't have to do anything. There's nothing else that you have to do. Just rest. Just rest. And all of this will shake out on its own. But the only thing that I get, and I think what's making you uncomfortable, yeah, you got the Moon and the Ace of Swords. Clarity will come out, right? The fog will clear, but it's almost like you have to let the circumstances kind of shake out on their own. If you become involved, or if you try to defend yourself or do something like that, you might complicate things. And I know that sounds crazy, but it's really like I'm getting a sense like whatever's happening, just give it over. You might not see justice being served, though. it's because we're getting the high priestess, which is concealment. Like this might be happening behind the scenes. Like you might not even see it happening in front of your eyes. But just trust and know that everything will shake out. And the universe does need you to tag out. They need you to tag out. But you do feel, the other thing is that the 9 with the 4 swords following the 9 of wands, you probably feel like you've been through a lot this week. You're probably going to feel like you've been through the war this week a little bit, guys. And again, this could just be like long work days. One other thing is that, something might feel unfair. Maybe you're doing more than your lion's share of work. Maybe you're dealing with a really tough case that's just not settling real quickly, and you're not sure what to do. But by the weekend, by the end of the week, the best thing that you can do is try not to pop off at the mouth. Try not to plead your case. You know what I'm getting? Go ahead and just let the judge make their decision. That happens sometimes. You see it if you've ever watched the court shows. Sometimes all you can do is tell your truth and then let the judge decide. But what I am kind of getting here is that I think what happens is sometimes you start to feel bitter, or you start to feel like, okay, why do I need someone to judge me? I didn't do anything wrong. Why do I have to be proven innocent? I didn't do anything wrong. But something happened that tested you or dragged you into something, and unfortunately that's all you can do. That's all you can do. The other thing that I get with this is that it might be work related, where something might have gone down at work. There might be some kind of investigations. That happens. In my profession, that's happened once or twice, where something happened and they have to sit down all of the employees and start asking questions about things. And again, it makes you feel like you're being attacked, because it's like, okay, well, I didn't do anything. Why do you have to ask me all these questions or look into what I did? But again, by the end of the week, just tell your truth, let it go, try not to worry about it, try to bite your tongue, try not to overtalk, or don't overdo it. Don't give too much evidence. Just tell your truth is what I keep hearing. Now, your card, you got your oracle card, you got the officer, and you got the red officer, which is crazy. Again, it's like the negative tint of law or justice. The red officer cautions us that our mistakes might suddenly catch up to us. Oh my God. Our mistakes might suddenly catch up with us. Also, heavy-handed authority, a pushy, oppressive order. Heavy-handed authority and a pushy, oppressive order. There you go, guys. Now, I'm not seeing any evidence of a boss. I am seeing the high priestess, meaning some stuff might be going on behind the scenes. And with the 4 of wands, this does look a little bit like a romantic couple, so it could be, yeah. But one thing I am noticing here is that you see justice, and you see how he's holding the sword of truth, and he's holding up the medal, like, okay. And then you've got, the kind of what looks like the bad cop there. I kind of get yes, again, the other thing that I kind of get is be balanced. If you feel like someone's trying to test you or push more things on you or be unfair with you, don't snap back. Don't snap, but don't take the shit either. Pardon my French. Just kind of push back in equal measure. Like if you're right here and someone's pushing you here, just push back to where you're supposed to be. Don't over push it. Don't cause any conflict. Just speak your truth. And I do think that everything will level out. Everything will level out. The other thing I kind of get is that this might just be, everybody's boss goes through stress, so this might be a week where someone is just kind of being what you deem as quote-unquote unfair. It might legitimately be unfair, but just state your truth. And again, I think everything will settle out. And gosh, guys, I'm super proud of you. I'm super proud of you. The other thing I get is that if any of this energy has been going on for more than just this week, I think you know how to decompress in your downtime, because both weekends here, I really do see, it's a little bit harder after you've gone through all this vetting, when people are pushing your buttons. It's harder to relax after that, but I think you can turn it over, and you're so good about maintaining your boundaries. And I do think that there's something that you do creatively that helps you decompress. So definitely lean on that. Try not to worry about it. And you got justice on your side. And believe me, with the High Priestess, this might not be something that's happening in front of you. Just know that justice is being served, but it might be behind the scenes, and that's okay, because everything will be okay. All right, guys. So wow, oh my gosh, that was a deep read. I'm so glad I pulled out those cards. I always get excited when I'm like, what oracle cards should I do this week? Let's do those, and it turned out so fun. But all right, guys, well, I thank you so much for joining me. I know we keep promising we will do special videos soon. We will. I promise you we will start doing special videos again. But I thank you for checking out your read today. I hope you have a very good week, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.